Play like we play. We be us. We be special. We smell greatness. We finish strong. From the top. 1, 2, where's 2, 3, 4, where's 5, 6, where's 8, 7, 8, where's 9, where's
a compassionate human being with a heart as big as a lion. I don't know what we're yelling about. Loud noises.
Welcome to the Coaches Show here at Met Radio. And on this Coaches Show, we have ADRIANNE Almaraz joining us. I'm Eric Lansing, also with Kyle over there on the board. Kyle, how you doing today?
Doing wonderful, of course.
We got through one show with Kenny Parsons, and now we're going to go with women's head coach ADRIANNE Almaraz. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Yeah, no problem.
And it's a slow day for you. We're not taking up too much of your time, I hope.
Not at all.
All right, well, we're going to make this quick and painless for you, and you're going to do this all season with us, and we appreciate that. And you can always listen to us at KMET Radio. What's that website there, Kyle?
KMETradio.org. Listen to this show, and of course, all the home games.
Absolutely, we're going to be broadcasting. We're going to try to broadcast 100% of the games.
Absolutely.
I just got a text message saying that board is ready to roll.
All right.
And so we just need to find a really long cable. So let's talk about exhibition season. You know, you start this Friday, but we got to talk about what's been going on recently. And so some of the exhibition games so far, Western Community College, I wasn't there for that, but Kyle, you were there for that, right?
I was there for that, and that was a beating.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I wanted to ask you about that because, I mean, obviously watching a game like that, everybody's watched those blowout games at the college level. As a coach, I mean, what are you trying to get out of that? I mean, are you trying to force your team into practicing possession, maybe practicing something you're not good at? I mean, because, I mean, it was fairly obvious early that 20 goals could have occurred.
Yeah. You know, for us, it was our first preseason match, and besides playing ourselves, obviously. So usually you don't really know what to expect. You know, obviously we think that our team's pretty good this year. At that point in time, we don't really know how good. And then when you're playing a community college, you know it's going to be a little bit lower of a level. But I think for us, you know, finding the good things in moments. And we definitely saw that we have lots of scoring ability through different players. 1, 2, just kind of getting into a rhythm a little bit with communication. And then, you know, for the coaching also, being able to evaluate individual players is a huge thing for us, especially in our scrimmages, because we're really trying to identify the starting 11 as well as who's going to be able to come off the bench for us when it really matters.
How is that coming along, finding that starting 11?
You know, it's been tough. You know, the best thing is always inner competition, and for us, we definitely have it this year. You know, we have a bigger roster, but at the end of the day, you know, for myself, going into my 4th season, it's probably been the most competitive season as far as who's going to start. And, you know, it may change this year quite a bit, just depending on who's training and who's playing better each day in each game.
And so just talking about Western Kentucky, Carissa Price stands out. She scored 4 goals, and you know, she was going to be a big part of your team last year. So she went down with an injury. Injuries, I mean, you walk across the street, you're walking into an unfortunate women's soccer player on the ground. But just what is she going to bring? You
know, for her, the good thing is, you know, she really wants it. And I think, you know, obviously she's a great forward. She has a great work rate, one of the best that I've seen so far here at Metro. But I think the biggest thing is she wants it. I mean, for her having to sit the whole last season and looking forward to being able to play a first year in college, and she didn't get that opportunity, I don't think she's taking anything for granted. And with that extra experience under her belt, I think she's going to surprise a lot of people this season.
Speaking of surprises, I was wondering, I mean, it seems like a lot of the preseason polls and a lot of people are overlooking you guys, having lost those top 3 scores. But, I mean, in the games I've seen you guys look very comfortable under pressure with possession. I mean, you guys look like you guys can really surprise people this season. Have you at all been surprised with how well they look this early? Because, I mean, it really looks like they're playing extremely well, especially with touches, which, I mean, you could expect maybe a little bit of rust early.
You know, to be honest, I haven't really been that surprised. I knew that this year we were going to have a lot of new players, and my biggest concern was how are we going to mesh and gel, because we have 14 different players from last season. But I knew talent-wise, we were going to be there. And especially with these girls, they want it. And that's something that you don't have every single season or with every single team. And every year, every team's different. And I think for us, the difference has been the work rate. I mean, these girls come into training and they're busting their butts, all the way to the hour and 45th minute. And they hold each other to a high standard. And but in the same sense is there's a long road ahead of us, and I know that in these preseason scrimmages, everything seems to be coming together, but like I told the girls, there's always going to be rough moments, and it's always how we respond. And right now everything looks nice because we've won our scrimmages, but at the end of the day, we got some tough competition coming along, and really where we'll be tested is when we get into the tough moments and the tough games, and how do we respond is what I'm looking forward to seeing with this team.
And you mentioned new players, and correct me if I'm wrong on this name. Is it Camila Rodriguez?
Yes.
And she's coming from Brazil.
Correct.
Brand new player. She scored 3 in one of the goals, one of the games. Just talk about what she's going to bring to the team, and how did you were you hanging out in Brazil
No.
on vacation? What's going on?
Yeah.
there?
No. I think for her, I'm very excited for her because she just brings a different talent level to our team. She's a different style of player than we've ever had. She's your typical Brazilian, very good at with her feet and the ball at her feet, and can create tons of opportunities for other players as well as for herself. And the nicest thing is she's just a freshman. We have quite a few years with her in her development. But I was contacted last year by her athletic director. She went to an American school in Brazil, and her dream was always to play soccer in America, and potentially play professionally after college. And then I got a few emails from some other people that have played in the United States and highly recommended her, saw some film online, and took the chance. Sometimes you got to gamble a little bit and hope it pays off. And, I think for her, she's definitely hopefully going to pay off and really enjoy her experience, because she's worked tremendously to get here. And I would say more so than, people that are coming from America, just because, this is what we know. But for her, it's just the whole experience, I think, is going to be great for her.
You got to like that, Kyle. I mean, to have that type of reputation where people in Brazil are calling Metro State to say, hey, you might want to take a look at this kid because they got a lot of talent. And that's the great reputation that women's soccer has, and you got to appreciate that. And
that's how I got this gig. Calls from Brazil.
There you go. Yeah, long distance. You didn't collect that, right? Well, you said take a chance on her. What was something about her that maybe made you a little bit nervous?
Well, the thing is, video film, you always want to see players live, because video, anybody can edit their video to look phenomenal. And, in her video, left-footed player, could strike a ball from distance. I mean, just read the game. So you just don't know, because you don't know, one, the editing, and two, the speed of play is a lot different here than it is in Brazil. So her opponents, she may look great in that moment, but can she play under pressure? Because for the United States, it's such a quicker paced game. So there's always variables when you don't get to see a player live. But like I said, all the things kind of lined up for her as well for us, and it worked out. And I see a bright future for her here.
So she went to an American school, right? So she speaks pretty good English?
She's still learning. She went her junior and senior year of high school there. But she understands the language. She can speak it. I think the girls are teaching her the American lingo.
That's not
the
good.
terms. When we were up in Vail, they were already all telling her, the cool words to use. So I'm sure she'll be saying them shortly.
And I was just concerned as a broadcaster, and have to interview some of these players afterwards, and she might need an interpreter.
I know.
I don't know any. Was it Portuguese?
Portuguese,
is that what they speak in Brazil?
Yes.
So, yeesh. Well, that's good, because it sounds like it's someone we're going to be able to talk to throughout the year.
I am curious for people who are maybe getting in, just starting, haven't really seen you guys before, if you could just maybe talk to them about the style of play that you guys like to play. I mean, it seems like there's really two schools of thought with the people like Italy, who really like to just clam up defensively, give up nothing, and hope to get one or two counterattack chances and put it away.
Yeah.
And then the teams that like to play a little more wide open possession style.
Yeah. For us, we play a 4-3-3. We've played that. We started playing it last year and have continued to play it this year. It's more of an attacking formation, higher pressure. For us, we're looking to go to goal. Obviously we don't want to give up anything, but we want to create chances for ourselves to get goals. And then defensively to put the teams under pressure higher up the field so that we're looking to win it higher up the field. But it's a fun style to watch. The one thing is we are a very possession-oriented team. A lot of times in a 4-3-3 it gets to be a little direct, but we try not to focus on that. We try to get, a lot of players involved in the attack, starting with our outside backs, and then just combination play up top. And, as you can see from the games that we have played, there's been some really good goals, irregardless of who we're going to play. If we can finish like that, we're going to continue to be dangerous against all the teams.
I saw some goals that were just ripped from outside the 18, which, of course, helps to have that to make people close you down a little earlier.
Right.
I am curious, since it is not necessarily your typical 4-4-2, how do you use that third player up top? Do you throw one in a little more outside? How are you using that?
We actually, for us, we play a flat 4 or the 3 up top, so just one wide right, centrally a forward, and then one wide left. We try to get them to also, not make such predictable runs, but it really stretches out the back line to create space for each player to go 1v1 or look to combine. And then as well as getting our attacking center mids to find those gaps, because it is such a handful for defenses to mark up that sometimes our attacking center mids can find seams within their own. Because there's just so many numbers going forward.
So you're talking about the players on the field. What about the player in the net? I know we're battling, trying to figure out who that's going to be. And do we have any idea yet?
I don't think we'll know till Friday.
Wow, really? That late?
Yeah. It's we've had the 3 goalkeepers, and we're really evaluating. And I think hopefully we'll find one that's ready to step up. But like I said, I still don't think that we'll know till Friday, till the decision has to be made.
Wow.
And how hard is that playing these exhibitions where your goalkeeper hasn't really been tested that much?
Yeah.
So, like you're talking about, not really seeing them in a pressure or a tough situation.
Right. And for us, luckily, obviously, since we're such an attacking team and been working out a lot there, they've had to definitely perform in practice, and they've been getting a lot of reps as well as a lot of chances for the coaching staff to evaluate them. And even when we played yesterday against Alumni, you take it for what it is playing them, but as well as our girls defensively had to go up against some of the best players that ever played at Metro. And Becca Mays still plays professionally during the summer. Madison McWilliams did as well. So, our goalkeepers actually had, they had a little bit more pressure than they did the first scrimmage. And I thought, it's good. It's a good chance for us to evaluate as well within that alumni game versus just the practices in and as well as our last exhibition game.
How much do you tell your players not to lose this game?
I don't really tell them not to lose. I don't think I ever tell them not to lose any game. I just tell them that we have to win.
We saw with Kenny Parsons and his team. The team he played against was stacked.
Right.
Not that saying yours isn't stacked either. But, to 7-1, you pretty much made it known, you're not coming on our field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think, too, for us, since we don't get to play some of the Division I teams since their season has started earlier, that – like I told the girls, it doesn't matter who we're playing in scrimmages. And if it's so tight, whether you're starting or getting minutes, this is your chance to perform. And don't take these moments for granted, because at the end of the day, once we start, time could be limited. And you don't want to say, well, I never showed and I'm a better player, because you don't know if or when you'll get that chance again. So I think these girls really took their advantage of the opportunities that they had. And like I said, it's going to be really tough to decide who's going to be those starting 11 as well as who's going to be coming off the bench.
All right. Unfortunately, we do have to take a quick commercial break.
We will be back with more on the Coach Almaraz Show right here on KMET Radio.